My speech was prepared for 11:30, so it's still good morning. What I like to do, of course, in sessions like this, uh, let you do the thinking. I'll just show you stuff. Hopefully, the pictures are interesting enough. But the point that you need to take away from this is is there something you can really do with it, right? My talk will be successful only if you have one small thing you can do with it after the talk. Uh, so the whole presentation is around, you look at enterprise social media, we've talked about networking, we'll talk a lot more about what companies are doing. But I would like you to keep thinking not about only the motherhood statements in some sense that I can give you, but really the examples of what people are doing today. And I would be very happy if, and I'll try and finish my talk a lot earlier, but if you can listen to what I've said, think any one of those points that I've talked about, any one of those applications, and just see if you can take the first baby step in the next 8 days or 10 days. If you don't, then this is one of those conferences where you come, you have a brochure, you have a pen, you get chocolates, lunch, and then you hear a lot of things. And then its life goes back to normal, right? So you wait for the next conference. And I'd really like, if we have a panel discussions coming up, we have a lot of very interesting talks since morning over the next 2 days. So don't try and think of everything that we are saying, but take 1 or 2 points out of that. And that's all I think would be useful. When Milind told me, he said, let's talk about enterprise social media tools and how you can use these tools. And Elangos in the previous session also said, you don't really need tools. I think what you need is the mindset. You need to know that this can work. And if you know it can work, then you'll find lots of ways to do it. So again, even though the subject is actually enterprise social media tools, I thought I'll change it and say, just think about whether it can work for you. It's worked for some other people, and let's see how we can make it work for you. Okay, enterprise social media or social media, the power of it is known. I mean, at least Arab Spring showed what, it can bring down dictators. It can change entire countries. All you need is a Twitter and a Facebook. You don't really need anything more than that to change the world today. So first question I want you to ask yourself is that if it can change dictators and countries and politics, can it really not change the way you guys engage, right? Can it really not have an impact on chota companies, just a couple of $1 billion here and there, right? Unlike these big countries. So of course it can change, and that's what I believe. Okay, it's not just a fad anymore. A few years back, social media was a fad. It was a little bit of things you did to chat with people, and all you did was do some postings and get some likes. But again, think a little bit about what you do with social media today, right? I don't imagine buying anything without doing a review first, anything expensive. What is a review, right? You go and just ask random people. You don't really ask them, but you hear random people that you've never met in your life tell you what a product is about, and based on that, you go and buy a product. That's the value of social media. Yes, Elango already talked about, your baby pics you want to share online. People get a job, they have to share online. You get a haircut, you have to share online. I just came from Goa, and I'm feeling very uncomfortable because my phone is off, no battery, and I can't tweet about it, right? So everything we do on social media is not a fad anymore. So the question is, why should it not be part of what your employees do on a day-to-day basis? Whether you look at internal social media, which is among employees, or you look at external social media, which is really letting employees reach out to future potential employers and so on and so forth, right? So the premise that I have and the point that I want you to take, and if you all agree that you have taken this point, then we can just get into questions. But I think the whole gaming and social networking, which has been taboo for many, many companies, people have fought very hard to block Facebook and block LinkedIn. And the whole gaming culture, and people, the word game is such a negative thing. You say, I want to game you, or you are gaming me, right? It's such a negative word. But I think gaming is probably one of the most exciting ways to harness the crowd, to harness the collective force of people. whether you say in the enterprise or you just look at the world as a, as a population, and then you combine it with the whole social networking, trust me, there are things you can do with it if you do it right, which is very difficult to replicate with any other model. Right? So first of all, let me take a quick show of, just to do a quick show of hands. How many of you are open to social media in the company? How many of you allow Facebook? So very, what, 5%, 10%, right? So for the rest of the gang, yes, I know there are a lot of concerns. I agree it opens people to unproductive behavior. I know that they can tweet about what they are doing at work. I know it increases bandwidth utilization on your networks. I know IT will never allow social media and blah, blah, blah. And I am completely aware of it because I'm an IT guy myself and I know what happens. But I'm again saying open your mind to the possibility that you can open Facebook. And one simple thing is, you can close Facebook all you want, but you cannot close it on the person's device unless you then stop them from getting phones in the office, right? So every time you fight back, it will fight back at you. And my suggestion is embrace embrace the new thinking. Try it out for some time. You go to a shopper stop and the banda shows you a shirt and says, yeah, you may not look good in it, but try it out. You don't mess too much if you just try it out. So try it out for a little bit. I'll give you some examples where you can try it out very safely, without really disturbing company culture and stuff. And then I'm sure you'll see that, yeah, it does look good. It's not that bad. So how can we exploit tools that are available? So the only question that you guys really have to do is how do you exploit tools to do things more effectively and ultimately create a high performance workforce? One point I want to make here is we are not talking about making employees feel nice so that they can see their baby pictures in office. Now, I'm not talking about just the fun factor of, okay, our company also allows us to tweet during office. And that's nice, but I don't think your companies are going to show better profit after tax because your employees watch kid photos in office. But if you can convert them into a higher performance workforce, I think you will see the benefit. And what I want you to do is move into using tools to better employee engagement, keep them more motivated, keep them more productive, and ultimately improve what you do in office. This is not about employee engagement for the sake of making the employees more connected with family and friends. This is about getting the best out of them in the environment that they are with the advent of social media and gaming as it is happening today, whether you like it or not. Okay, so this is all, in terms of the bhashan, this is all I have to say. Anything more than that, it gets repetitive. But I'll just show you examples. I'll show you what companies are doing. In some cases, I can give the names out. In some cases, I can say and then deny. In some cases, I cannot tell you who they are. But these are all real examples, as real as they come. And again, I have a Q&A at the end, but anything in the middle, anybody has any questions, please put up your hand because I would love this to be a discussion more than my presentation. So let's look at this screenshot one. Okay. Now what you're seeing here, you're seeing some concept of individual, team, and organization. You're seeing a pretty interesting looking, you can see some house, you can see gifts. You can see a notification that says check out your gift. You can see some points. And it's a fun thing. It's a fun version, it's a better version of Farmville in some sense because I think it looks a little better. Can somebody guess what this is or what this can be used for or what this is used for? Yeah? It can be a portal kind of page for the project, okay? Anything else? Onboarding of employees, okay? This is good because you guys think that all those things can be done with this. Appraisals. Project status. Yeah? R&R. Newsletter. I heard recruitment. Interesting thing is that there were very few hands that came up when I said, do you guys believe in gaming and social networking? But there are at least 6 or 7 applications that you guys thought of without me talking about it. I could have just told you this is a stupid game on Facebook where you guys create your own house and invite friends over, right? But you are right. It's actually used for appraisals. More than 7,000 people at Persistent have been using this for more than 2 years. Important thing is that right in the middle, it has saved us thousands of hours, and you can do a quick calculation. How many hours do you use for reverse appraisal and the peer appraisal, and then more importantly, first collecting data at the end of the year. February ho jata hai, so customers come second because, hey, wait, I have to collect my data points, right, for the appraisal. And then you have the post-appraisal process, the escalations, and HR gets involved, and then you get parties together. We have used this for crowdsource appraisals. What is crowdsource appraisals? There was a point in the previous lecture where you said, how do you get altruism and how do you use the tribalism and all of those concepts? Essentially, yes, we are selfish, but I do think people also like to do good things to other people, right? And when we started deploying EME at Persistent for crowdsource appraisals, we actually started out saying that managers can give notes, performance notes, and if you go to the previous slide, okay, each one of those BMWs and the cars and all the fancy stuff, these are all performance notes that the person has earned for his work. And we opened it up saying managers can give gifts to their employees. The biggest feedback we got from people was that, oh, we want to give it to other people. They didn't say we want other people to give it to us. Of course, somewhere at the back of the mind that reciprocation is required. But they wanted to be able to reward other colleagues who had helped them in their time of need, whichever way it was, help me fix a bug and, do some knowledge management and so on. And people like to do that. People like to collectively do something. Now, the interesting point here is when we started using it for individuals. So what you saw was my house, my avatar, and me, right? We have a customer called Manpower Group. It's a very big, large company based out of the US. For them, it was more important to make this a team thing. So the house represents the team. So in some sense, somebody said project page. Yes, it's like a project page. And each of these gifts kind of represent how the project is doing on various KPIs and KRAs that you have set for the project. The soft ones, the hard ones, whichever way you want to look at performance. And what it does very beautifully is that if I am a member of this team, I feel great that I live in this big house and I have all these gifts and I'm doing well as a team. I compare against other teams. But I am under no compulsion to contribute in some sense, right? Because I can always say this is the team house and I'm happy living there. But this is again where the competitiveness and the gaming culture comes in, where people, when you give them challenges that they can create for themselves, when they can own tasks without having forced it on their throat. Like you guys play golf, right, or cricket or whatever. Nobody forces you to play it, right? You're just there, gully mein cricket chal raha hai, you walk around and you want to pick up a bat and do a task which you pick up on your end without anybody asking you to do it. Question is, can you look at team activities or can you look at knowledge management? Can you look at taking lectures? Can you look at contributing course content? Are you looking, as an HR, are you looking at these as tasks or are you looking at these as activities of a team that any team member can pick up and get rewarded for doing that team? But if he doesn't want to, he doesn't contribute. That's okay, right? The question is, you cannot force a guy to take a induction lecture. And even if you did and if you didn't want it, you can only imagine what will happen to the induction lecture itself, right? But when you do it in a team environment, people contribute. They do it because they are used to doing things on Facebook. I have been woken up at 7 o'clock in the morning by friends saying, can you please water my plants because, blah, 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 on Farmville, right? And I do it because I like doing it for a friend. I'm selfish, but I know that at one point of time, she'll feed my cat, right? So you do that. And can you do it in teams? Why not, right? This is an example of how it's happening. Interestingly, because we went into continuous assessment, we also got very comfortable with the idea of continuous promotion. So we said, okay, anyway, you're getting assessed every year, every month, every day. You can also get promoted every day. It has two benefits. One, yes, you can take the best people. take them up as soon as you want them without waiting for the year cycle. But imagine from the employee's perspective, he is always aware that there are chances out there. If there's a task that he can contribute to and win, he can be promoted. Unlike today, what happens is the moment it's March end or May, and you miss the cycle, then I have heard a lot of people say, "Kya fayda yaar? Abhi one whole year, there's no point working hard because you're not even going to get considered." So imagine the impact it has on productivity of individual people when you put them you give them twice the amount of work, but you put two people together, they'll always perform better. So even simple things like goals. When you create goals for people, think of social. Can you get people to collaborate together when there is a goal given? And can you make it a game that they are free to go and connect with other people? So for example, certifications, right? One thing that most of companies do is force people to do certifications. You may call it, growth related and internal assessment and whatever, but basically you're telling people, study, 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 get marks, get a certificate, and only then you can get promoted and so on. Why don't you make it a team goal? Let people know that there are other people having the same goal. And the gift at the end of the day, it may not be a phone, it might be a certificate. So you go back to the previous house and you say, hey, here is a new task for people to contribute to. And that is achieving certification as a team. And you make it voluntary. Let people take it because they want to take it, not because you are asking them to take it. And trust me, you'll run this out. And again, as I said, try it on once. For 1 month, say that we are not going to force anybody for certificates. We are going to allow you to do certification on your own. Remember shopper stop. All you need to wear that shirt is in the changing room. You don't like it, you don't even have to buy it. You don't like this activity, go back to your old nice ways which work for you, right? But try it out. The one thing I want to say is try it out. Okay, look at badges. People say giving people certificates is not fun, giving them badges is not fun. But people give their lives for the country and then they want to show it off on a badge and you think it's not important, right? I think it's extremely important. I think it's extremely important for, I don't know, I take one person here and say, how well are you doing for your company? Imagine you could come here with a chest full of badges, right? But your company doesn't give you badges. What your company does is once a year, you go in a room with your manager and that manager says all the cool things and you come out extremely unsatisfied because you said, hey, saal bhar to kuch bola nahi. Now, and maybe you'll also say you're doing great job, but, wait for just one more year because, we don't have quota this time and so on and so forth. So again, badges, things like those virtual gifts, trust me, we might be from a different generation, I included. We might think that, we should be working for our happiness and cracking a bug is really cool. But a lot of people don't necessarily think that way. And we made a point here, if somebody gives you more money, you'll switch jobs. I kind of disagree to it at times. I think money is important, but that triggers when you're not happy on your job. I think if you're happy, you don't even look around for jobs. Yes, somebody gives you 2x salary, 3x salary, you might jump. But I think if you're happy, you will want that badge more than the salary letter. And again, try it out. So this is something we did for BMC, BMC software. Anybody from BMC here? Okay. So you know what this is? I mean, you can now start guessing what this is. Yeah, anybody? Skill competition, close. Top performer, again close but not. Yeah, the guru. Okay, again, all of you are close. Yeah. So actually, it kind of encompasses all this. So what BMC software did is they wanted to bring the sexiness of being a programmer rather than being a manager. Because in India, you spend 3 years. The first question is how many people you have reporting to you. It's not what products you build, right? So how do you bring, and if you're a product company, that's really bad. You can't afford to have managers in product companies. So what they wanted to do was bring the fun and the status of being a techie into their job. And they created this concept of a ninja club. So ninjas, you by definition, you know that they are cool and powerful and everybody wants to be a ninja. And what they do is, this is almost like a buy invite club. So you need to kind of write an essay and give a short uh, application to be even part of the club. You can of course come and look at what's happening and then wish you were there. So guests can browse around and look at people. But what the ninja does is, to start with, you get a white belt once you are admitted, and then you can go to the next level. You can get these belts. So you see green belts, yellow belts, black belts. So that's one of your badges. You can also get other badges like you're a guru orator or a ninja at technology, and you're a test guru and so on. So again, you get those badges that actually come on the top. And then you'll see those bunch of weapons. Those are your skills. So this is your dojo, and you are the guru in the middle. These guys are your followers. So if you go to every person's dojo, you'll kind of get a sense of how popular the guy is, how influential the guy is. So this is your clout within the company. You may, you have a lot of other things that you can click. So for example, the stand on the top, bottom left, you can hang your articles and patent applications on that. So when people come and they see a lot of knowledge hanging around and they click on it and they open it and they read it, you of course have a lot of other controls that drop down with updates and what you've done and all of that stuff. What happens is that when I joined BMC as a fresh engineer, and I look at all these cool guys that get access to the CEO and all these cool meetings that I'm not allowed to because I'm stupid, I get to figure out what it is that has made them important. What are the kind of, so what do you do to be like them, right? Other than being born again with a smarter brain, right? So you look at their ninjas and you say, oh, okay, so this guy recently went and got a patent published. He applied for a patent, or he went to an international seminar. He wrote a book review, right? And maybe there are small things I can start with to earn points. And once I get sufficient points, I go to the next level. Now, the moment I go to the next level, everybody in the company knows that Siddhesh became a green belt, so I have a little bit of show off. It comes on TV in the atrium and all of that stuff. So again, extremely serious people, mature people, hardworking people, and they use this to